Hello, this is Principal Darby, and I thank you for tuning in to Royal Palm's Bedtime Stories. Now, tonight is going to be a little different because I've selected a chapter book. That means you're going to have to really pay attention. I don't even have any guests today, other than maybe you can see the fish in the back. But with a chapter book, there aren't many pictures, so you're going to have to use your imagination and picture what's going on. But before I start, I have two things I want to say. I want to go over some of the vocabulary words with you so you'll understand what's going on. Some of you are familiar with football, some of you are not. But even if you don't like football, it's not necessarily about football, but football is part of it. So don't be discouraged because it has football. And the other thing is, in order to get your prize, you're going to have to tell me the secret name that I mentioned somewhere in the book. And I'll tell you, it's going to be one of the teacher's names, and I'll tell you at that time. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. The vocabulary word, one of them is a wide receiver. You know what a wide receiver is? Okay, a wide receiver is the person who catches the ball in football. The quarterback throws the ball, the wide receiver catches the ball, okay? The other words, phrase is line of scrimmage. The line of scrimmage is where the players line up. There's a line here, and then there's a line in front of them. One is on offense, one is on defense. So the line of scrimmage is where the play begins. The other one is penalty. Yeah, you know what that one is. A penalty is when you do something wrong and it costs your team some yards or some points. So you don't ever want to cause your team to get a penalty. That's going to be big in this story, okay? Pump fake. A pump fake is when the quarterback has the ball and he acts like he's going to throw it so he can fool the defender, but he doesn't throw it and he pulls it back, and then he may throw it or he may run it. Or he may hand it off to someone, okay? So a pump fake is like this, but you don't really throw the ball, okay? Two more words. End zone. The end zone is where you score the touchdown. If I get into the end zone, I score a touchdown, okay? And a face mask. A face mask is the protection on the helmet, and sometimes people will grab the face mask. You're not supposed to do that if you're not on their team. Sometimes they do it to celebrate, but you're not supposed to do it if you're not on their team, okay? So those are the words, okay? Let's go ahead and get started. This book is called Touchdown Turmoil. Turmoil means something is going on, something is happening, okay? So Touchdown Turmoil, and the author is Jake Maddox. Remember, you must pay attention because there aren't too many pictures in this story. I'm just going to read the first chapter tonight. I'm only going to read the first chapter, and then we'll go on to the next chapter next week. The first chapter is called Hitch and Go. That's a play that they run in football. You tell him to run a hitch and go, and he's running a certain pattern, okay? All right, pay close attention. Ethan broke the huddle with his football team, the Locomotives. He hustled out to the wide receiver spot near the sideline. He motioned to the referee to see if he was on the line of scrimmage. The referee nodded. Yeah, you're okay. Ethan needed to be on the line of scrimmage to avoid an illegal formation penalty. Ethan never wanted to see a flag thrown. He especially wanted to avoid one on the play that was coming up. So for some reason, Ethan is excited about the play that's coming up. Coach Jennifer had called Ethan's number. The play, the hitch and go, was Ethan's favorite. The ball will be coming Ethan's way, so you know he's excited. Ethan's buddy Gavin played quarterback for the Locomotives. Gavin went up to the center and barked out some signals. Locomotive 1-9, Locomotive 1-9. Those signals meant nothing. Coach Jennifer just wanted Gavin to say them to mix up the defense. Gavin said, "Hut, hut." Ethan ran as fast as he could off the line of scrimmage. The defender ran back. He didn't want Ethan to get behind him, but after 7 yards, Ethan stopped, cut back, and looked for the ball. Gavin reared his arm and pump faked as hard as he could. The defensive back expected a pass and closed in. That's when Ethan took off again. He busted up the field and got behind the defensive back. Gavin tossed the ball over the defense, hitting Ethan in stride. Ethan raced to the end zone for a touchdown. The official raised his arm to signal, touchdown. Ethan's teammate slapped him on the shoulder pads. An offensive guard named Christian grabbed Ethan by his face bag and growled. Argh! He was by far the biggest 8th grader on the team. Growling was how Christian congratulated his teammates. Gavin said, "Nice job, nice run, nice catch." The friends fist pump. On the sideline, Coach Jennifer put her hand on Ethan's helmet. We ran that hitch, she said. Then we ran the hitch and go. That's how we tricked them. That's how we set them up. Assistant coach Bob gave Ethan a high five. Great job. Nice catch. Coach Jennifer addressed the other players standing near. She said, "We aren't done. Those guys on the sideline, they're the Raiders. You think they're done?" Locomotives shouted or shook their head. "That's right," said Coach Jennifer. "They're not done. We have to beat them one play at a time, Locomotives." The Locomotives lined up for the 2-point conversion. Remember, after the touchdown, you get to kick the ball for extra points. Unfortunately, they missed, so they still led by 6 points. The Raiders weren't done. They got the ball back and went to work with their bruising running back. He was very strong. On the first play, he ran the ball and up the middle of the field for 12 yards. The next play, an option to the right, went for 14 yards. The next play, an inside shuffle pass to the wingback, went for 17 yards. They're getting a lot of yards. I think they're going to score. The Locomotives' defensive was on their heels, meaning they were in trouble. Then the Raiders tossed the ball to the left, which was a mistake. I wonder what's going to happen. Christian, the Locomotives' growling offensive guard, he also played on defense. The left was his side. Christian crashed through the blockers. He stuck the tailback for a loss of 6 yards, so he did a very good play. Christian stopped him from getting any yards. Christian stood up and growled. He pounded on his chest. He wanted to fire up the defense. The Raiders kept marching. They ran an option to the left. I don't think they should run to the left because that's what Christian is. Christian came in. Then he walloped the quarterback. What do you think they mean by wallop? Good job. Hit him really hard. The quarterback tossed the ball to the running back. The back scrambled around the end for a first down. They're gaining yards. On the next play, the quarterback faked left and bootlegged to the right. He didn't want to go to the left because who was over there? Christian, right. So he went to the right. The Locomotives defense expected him to keep it, but as they came charging in, he threw it. His pass hit the Raiders tight end on an out route. The Locomotives defense was out of position. The Raiders tight end turned the ball up the field and went in for a score. Touchdown! After the Raiders scored on the 2-point conversion, the Locomotives trailed by 2 points. It was late in the fourth quarter. See, there are no pictures. All right, so remember the Locomotives were up, but now the Raiders are up. Now, let's see, there's only 2 minutes left in the game. On the sideline, Ethan and Gavin fist pumped. Gavin said, "Let's get him back." Ethan said, "One play at a time." Remember, one play at a time. The Raiders kicked off and pinned the ball deep. The Locomotives offense huddled, called a pass play, and broke. You think Ethan's going to get the ball again? Ethan hustled out to his wide position. He made sure he was on the line. Gavin called out, "Locomotives 2-7, Locomotives 2-7. Again, the signals mean nothing. They were only meant to try to fool the defense. "Locomotives 2-7, hut, hut." Gavin dropped back to pass. He didn't see anyone open, so he ran through some space in the middle for a short gain. So the quarterback can run the ball as well. The next few plays, Gavin dumped off a couple of short passes to Kenny and Jason and the other receivers on the squad. Then he hit Ethan on a crossing route to move the chains. That means they got another first down. So they're moving down. They're doing good. Let's see if they're going to score. The Locomotives then gained some yards on the ground. Time was winding down. They're running out of time. Coach Jennifer sent in a play for Ethan. It was another hitch pattern. Okay, here's the secret name. The secret name is Miss Pender. Miss Pender. That's the name you're going to have to tell me if you want your prize. Okay, back to the story. When Gavin took the snap and dropped back, Ethan charged off the sideline like he was going deep, deep. The cornerback who was defending him thought Ethan was actually going deep and stayed back. He didn't want to get burned like on Ethan's last touchdown. But Ethan fooled him again. Ethan stopped, cut back, and looked for the ball. Gavin's pass hit Ethan right in the numbers. The defender recovered and made the tackle. But Ethan had enough for the first down. They're getting closer and closer to that word we talked about, the end zone. Okay, they're getting closer and closer. The Locomotives missed in some runs. Gavin hit Kenny and Jason on some out patterns. The ball was on the Raiders' 18-yard line. That means they have 18 yards to score a touchdown. Coach Jennifer ran out to the field to huddle her team. She said, "We got them fooled. We got them fooled. They can't cover us. We're going to go back to the hitch and go." Remember, the hitch and go is where they scored a touchdown earlier. Last 2 pages for this chapter. The players took their positions after the timeout. Ethan made sure he was on the line of scrimmage because remember, he doesn't want to get a penalty. Gavin barked, "Locomotive 18, Locomotive 18, hut, hut, hut." Ethan stumbled down the field. He stopped, cut back, and looked for the ball. When Gavin pump faked, the defensive back just froze. He couldn't tell if the offense was going short or going long. Ethan ran up the field and got behind the frozen defender. That means he should be wide open. Gavin slung the ball in a tight spiral. It arched through the air into Ethan's hand. Ethan could feel his leather under his sticky fingers of his receiver's glove. He looked up the field and he no longer felt the ball. Uh-oh, did he drop the ball? Ethan stopped running and turned around. The ball was lying on the ground. He had dropped the ball. Ethan couldn't believe it. He had run the pattern 1,000,000 times. He had caught the ball 1,000,000 times. He tried to figure out what happened. What was it? He must have taken his eyes off the ball as he looked upfield. The Locomotives tried another pass play, but the Raiders tackled Gavin. And time ran out. Ethan's drop pass had cost his team the game. Okay, that's it for chapter 1. Remember the name that I told you? That's the name that you're going to have to tell me tomorrow when you see me. All right? Remember, Ethan plays football, and we'll read the next chapter next week. This is only chapter 1. He scored the first touchdown on a hitch and go, but he dropped the last one, and it cost his team the game. So let's see how Ethan bounces back after not having such a good game or dropping the ball. Okay? Once again, thank you for tuning in. This is Principal Darby. And remember, as you're entering the classroom tomorrow, there is nothing more important than learning. When you enter the classroom, there is nothing more important than learning. And remember to practice kindness. Kindness to who? Let's see if the fish are listening. Kindness to who? Kindness to self, kindness to scholars, kindness to the staff, and kindness to the school. Good night.